Hey guys, what's going on? It's Go here, and that was a weird intro, but we are going to do the post EMS ONE video. So, if you didn't see it, I did a kind of like a preview of the group stages of the EMS ONE Katowice tournament, which happened this weekend. I'm recording this on a Monday, so it finished yesterday. It was a really good final. If you don't know the finalists, then turn off now. Just go away. This is going to be spoiler heavy. If you want to watch the tournament on VODs and stuff, do not watch this video. That is a disclaimer right now. Turn it off right now if you don't want any spoilers, because this is going to be spoiler heavy. I'm going to go through pretty much every single game that happened, apart from the group stages, kind of go an overview of the group stages and tell you if my predictions were right or not, so if you didn't see it and stuff. So let's get into it. And the first biggest thing that happened this week, this words, mouth, in, out, talk, Mike, you know. So Group A, Virtus Pro and Hellraisers actually went through from this group. The other two teams were Titan, yes, Titan, as in the winners of DreamHack Invitational, Titan, and Miles Sports. So Titan go out after a loss to Virtus Pro and then Hellraisers. I really don't know how this happened. I've just been reading a blog from MBK who said they over-prepared, as in they tried to do too much fancy stuff, trying to outplay the opponents when they just pretty much got outplayed in the basics of Counter-Strike, which is something that they've learnt from and they will get better from. But Virtus Pro, I will say now, do go forward in this tournament. I'll leave till the end to say who wins. So Miles Sports go out without really trouble in the group. To be honest, it was a hard group, let's be honest. I didn't expect Hellraiser to go through, to be honest. Didn't play that well for the rest of the tournament, but well played to them for beating Titan. They did beat Titan. I mean, it's kind of a weird side, Hellraisers. Sometimes they can be amazingly good, they can beat Titan, but then sometimes they just don't perform. I don't understand it, really, because they are, on paper, a good scene. Markelov's quality, Adren's quality, Angel's really good, Kucha's good, and Doja's immense. So I don't know what's happening with that team. It's kind of like Fnatic. They've got really good stars, but they're kind of gelling together. So Group B, I got this one perfectly right. NIP and LDLC. It was very predictable, but Vox Eminor did surprise me quite a bit. They played better than I expected. I expected them to kind of be a team, just come in, play a couple of rounds, just like not really get dominated by LDLC and NIP and 3D Max. But they did manage to put 13 rounds past LDLC, and I didn't actually see the game because I was at school at the time. But apparently they played really well, to be honest. So I hope they're in more European events, because I think it's good that we get the Americans and the Asian teams into the European scene. So it's good. 3D Max didn't really make an impact. They did beat Vox Eminor, but they didn't get through. Very predictable group. NIP and LDLC went through. So Group C, the teams that went through were Dignitas and Fnatic. I did say Fnatic would go through, but I did not expect Dignitas to go through. Reason did beat Fnatic, but lost to them in the second time round, after they lost to Dignitas as well, it was just pretty much exactly what happened in DreamHack Winter as well, so I don't know what happened there. So I was completely wrong about Dignitas. They did really played well, even without Nico as the AWPer. KGB didn't really play well in the group stage, but they did pretty much carry him. Dupree, Device, and Zipnik played out the skin. Fettage didn't have a great KD, but he did. He's obviously the strat caller, so you can't really listen in because, you know, well, you could, because ESL TV point of view had the team speaking, which was really good by ESL. That is quality. But I couldn't understand anything because it was in Dutch. So they won like outstandingly in the group stage, beating Fnatic, which was really good. It's really good for them. I hope to see them advance because I think they're the best Dutch team, to be honest, and I think they should be better than they actually are. They have a game in house. Dignitas are a very good organisation in North American LoL, and they did have a British team, but they dropped that. I wasn't in the scene back then. I wasn't looking at the scene back then. So Fnatic did lose to Reason, but I knew that would happen. Well, I didn't know that would happen, but I knew Fnatic would have bumps on the road because, you know, they're not the best team. In my opinion, I think they're highly overrated, but I'll get onto that a bit later. So the last group was Group D. I got this completely and utterly wrong. The two teams that I did say would go through, Clan Mystic and, scrolling up, Navi. They didn't get through. LGB and Cole went through in Black City. LGB, I thought had an amazing tournament. I thought they played brilliantly. The only problem is I find with LGB is that they rely too much on their aim. Now, their aim can win matches, like it has shown. But when you come up against really experienced teams like NIP, like your Titans, like Virtus Pro, like other teams of high caliber, I can't really think of any now. Then you're gonna get out tactics, and your aim just can't. You can't just rely on your aim for everything. So I think in a couple of months, when they've got some good strats down, when they've been together for a bit longer than they actually have, I think they will become one of the top teams. And I think they will win a major tournament. I think they might win. I might be tipping them to win DreamHack Summer. But I don't know. That's the next major, I do believe. I don't quote me on this. Might be, Copenhagen Games. They might win Copenhagen Games, but I don't know because there's loads of team Copenhagen Games. So the next team to go through was Complexity. Now they didn't even boot camp before the tournament like iBuyPower did, the other American side. They pretty much went into this game cold. They did play with each other, but one of the team players, Swag, who had a really good tournament, didn't have internet for the week prior to the tournament, so they couldn't play with him. So they said the first time that they've been on a server with each other in like a week and a half was on the first game in the first group stage, first game of the group stages, which is amazing how they've got through to the quarter final and played against NIP. I'll talk about that in a sec. But it's just amazing. I think they're a really good side. I just feel like if they were based in Europe, they would be so much better than they are, because at the moment they can play against iBuyPower, and they did mention this on the podcast, on Khan's podcast, about how American teams don't have the high caliber of scrimming partners that Europe does, because there's pretty much Complexity and iBuyPower, and that's pretty much it. There's teams like Denial and Exertus who are alright, but they're not at the level of European sides. So if they could scrim against teams in Europe and play with Europeans more often, so I think what they should do, I know this probably won't happen because it costs a lot of money, is like maybe I know it's hard to conflict, but in the perfect world you'd have either Complexity totally based in Europe, or come for boot camps like maybe 2 months a year, maybe, or a month a year, so they can just keep up that level of high caliber gaming. But that's unfortunate for them. But they did have a really good tournament. I reckon. I just think they played out of their skin. I didn't expect them to play that well. So that's really my wrap up of the groups. I will go on to the quarters, the semis, and of course the grand final. And then I'll kind of sum up the whole tournament of my views on it. So yeah, guys, stick around for that. And I hope you enjoyed the first part of this episode. Alright guys, we are back, and we're going to go through the quarterfinals. The quarterfinals, which is the ones after the group stage. Okay, so 2 teams went through from each group, and we've gone into quarterfinals. All the quarterfinals teams get 10 grand anyway, so this is where they get money. Well, they got money if they were in the group stage as well, but not as much as 10 grand. 10 grand for each team that doesn't make out of the quarters. So the first match was Dignitas versus Hellraisers. Now, there's not really much to say about this. Dignitas played really well. A standout was Cajun B. Him on... oh god, that was a kind of like a burp thing. I don't know what happened. Yeah, Cajun B on Mirage, when he was playing on short, watching B houses and mid, his open ability was amazing. He was just flick shotting everything from your house. He just turned around, hit someone on short, turned around, hit someone on house. It was just amazing to watch. I thought it was incredible just to see him play like that. There was little resistance from Hellraisers. Also, wait, one sec. Also, I just remember this. Cajun B's, watch his. It'll be on some frag videos. He got a 4K and a pistol round on CT when they were on Dust 2. It was the best 4K pistol I've ever seen. Just one clicks all day, every day. It was amazing. So Hellraisers didn't really offer much resistance. Doja and Markelov played very well. Played well on the first map, but there wasn't really much. Quite an easy win for Dignitas. So the next game that was played was Virtus Pro versus LDLC. The LDLC was a French team with Glamystic and Recursive members joined together. Virtus Pro were just played amazing. They were amazing against them, which really showed when in the first map on Mirage they went 15-0 up in the first half. Like, you're gonna win, pretty much. They were just outclassed, outperformed. Virtus Pro played so well. I think they were just amazing. LDLC played very poorly, in my opinion. Kaylee was really poorly up. He just didn't like in the second half. I think um, after the first half on Inferno, he got one kill and then a team kill. Well, he got two kills and a team kill, which was a headshot actually with the AWP. I don't know whether it was a no scope or not. I'll have to see on the replays, which you can find all of the replays on if you open up your Counter Strike. You go on your watch and you can look at the EMS one. You can look at all the demos of all the teams, which I'll get back to after my conclusion thingy majig. So yeah, easy game for Virtus Pro. They played really well as they have done throughout the tournament. Next game was NIP versus Col. Now, I do actually have something to say about this because Complexity, they only lost 2-1. Now, Complexity won the first map on Dust 2. Now, they were casting with nothing Gilbert when they were talking about NIP, and they were also talking to Strungaras like in the final with like talking about how they won a map against NIP. Pretty much what they did, they moved as a unit. They didn't let NIP stack up on one site. So what they did was they had all 5 members moving in on one site. They maybe traded and then traded probably, and then they secured the bomb site and they stayed there. So that's what they did all throughout. So if one guy goes down, you're gonna have someone who's back up and kill him. And it was just really good Counter Strike to play. Complexity did play really well on Dust 2, but sadly did lose 2-1. And IP just the experience, the class that they've played. Maybe Cole was a bit unprepared, but still they were a bit, but they still played really well. So it was fairly easy for NIP in the second 2 matches, but Cole did play with an amazing 4K clutch from Swag when he was 1v4. That was amazing. That was really good. So Cole, to really improve on that, I think they've played really well. I think they do need to scrim some more EU teams. I know it's impossible with the ping, but they've got to find a way to do it, or else they're not going to be as good as the EU teams are. And that's my opinion personally. I just don't think they have the competition that they do in Europe, in America, which is pretty bad as how big America is. I think they should have some competition. Now, the last quarterfinal, which was, in my opinion, the best, because LGB played really well, and so did Fnatic. I like to see Fnatic play well, because when they play well, they have some of the best aimers in the game, but so do LGB. LGB are a team of 5 really good aimers with any gun. So, they've got like 3 people who can use the AWP, Dennis, Oliver Meister, Twist. It's just amazing to watch. And then they've got Crims, who's team game leader, but still gets like 3Ks every round. It's just amazing to watch, especially when El Mirage, where it was just like a domination from LGB. It was just really good. Oh, it was really. If the 2 matches that one of them's in one of the semi-finals, and this match, do watch it. Watch all the LGB matches because I love watching LGB. So it was very close. It went to the last map where LGB won a very close 16-4 on Train, where when it was 14-4, you'll be able to see this if you type in Doja 4K EMS ONE versus LGB. Doja was 1v4, they were defusing the bomb, picks up an AWP, gets 2 kills, and then kills the diffuser just after the bomb's been defused, and that's the 15th round for LGB. It was amazing. And then he gets another kill after that. So, not Doja, it's not Doja, it's what's his name? No, Flusher. It was Flusher. It was just amazing to see. But watch that game. It was so good. LGB played so well. Tactically, they're not strong, but their aim makes up for that. Especially at this lot. They're incredible. I think they'll turn out to be a really good side. And I think LGB were one of the standouts of this tournament. So we'll move on now to the semi-finals. First semi-final was NIP versus Dignitas. I'll put Dig in my notes. Yeah, I make notes for these videos. I prepare. It took me an hour the other night. Yeah. NIP versus Dignitas. NIP won 2-0. Not really much to say. Dignitas played very poorly. They were really outclassed by NIP. They were dominated, probably due to experience. But Cajun B wasn't playing as well, and Get Right also was just playing incredible. He was just having one of the tournaments of his life. It wasn't for the final, which he didn't play very well in. But he was, after the first 2 days, he was plus 80 KD. Plus 80. I don't know what his actual stats were, but it was plus 80. Now that's just crazy. After the first 2 days, just immense. So Dignitas was just outplayed, outmatched, outplayed in every sector, just dominated pretty much. Now which comes to the second semi-final. this best of three is probably the best of three I've ever seen in Counter-Strike go. If you had, say, 2 hours to watch one, you could only watch one match, this is the match you watch. Not the final, watch this match, because this was the best of three I've seen ever. It went 3 maps, went overtime in one of the maps. Well, it was incredible. It was just back and forth every single time. All the maps were close, all the rounds were close. Pro did win in the end 2-1, which really I do believe it came down to experience and their tactics. Pasha was, I have put in my notes here, Pasha was flexing those biceps. He went big on key rounds, so did Bialy, so did Taz, the in-game leader, so did Snack, so did everyone. So just LGB played really well, but unfortunately they did have to go out in the semi-finals, which is really good for them. I didn't expect them to get this far, to be honest. They were a new team on the scene. I didn't expect them to get past the groups. They were a new team with Twist and Sype. I don't know who was out. I know Huiten. It's like spelled Skytten, or Huiten or something like that. He was in the side for GR Winter, but they did change up the roster just in the new year. So bringing in Twist and Sype from SK. But it was just amazing game to see. I do believe you should watch it. It was very good from Virtus Pro. They were just, unfortunately, LGB were just I can't think of the word, outstratted pretty much. That's all I can say. They were outstratted by Virtus Pro. In the end, accompanied with Virtus Pro really good aim, it was just, unfortunately, LGB did go out, but they do win 22,500, I think. Something like that. That makes the maths right, I think. So, yeah. So that's not bad for LGB's first major as a team, really. So the grand final, I thought was a bit underwhelming. To be honest, it only went to 2 maps with Virtus Pro winning. Yes, Virtus Pro beating NIP 2-0. It was probably due to the fact that they had a 6th man, which was the crowd, the Polish crowd. Literally after every kill that Virtus Pro made, it was just a huge noise, huge noise. It was very one-sided. I felt Virtus Pro did outplay NIP. I don't really know how. They did put up a decent fight. They did. It's hard to say where NIP went wrong. I don't think they played poorly. I just think they were outclassed. Maybe one of the things was that Get Right really didn't play as well as he had in the other 2 maps. Maybe that's because of his bowel disease. I don't know, because he has been diagnosed with some sort of disease. I can't remember what the name of it was. But the Poles just went on to play brilliantly. Snacks was the outstanding member. He went huge in the 2 maps, where he went 58 for 28, so plus 30 KD. Pasha went huge as well. Pasha always goes huge. It was just amazing to see. They just played brilliantly, and they truly deserved the tournament, especially in Poland of all places. They've finally now got to a place where they can actually be as a team. Like, they were the Golden 5, now the Golden 3, with Bialy and Snacks coming in now. So they've got the backing of a great organisation in Virtus Pro. They do want them to win. They've got a game in house, and I think they will go far. I think they will win more tournaments, to be honest. So yeah, that wraps up the whole group stage and the tournament side of it. Now I want to do a conclusion, which I'll do in just a second. Alright guys, we're back for the kind of wrap up of the whole video thing. Why not just say conclusion? But okay, so I'm going to do a conclusion here. What I think can be kind of drawn from the tournament, to be honest, was a really interesting tournament. A lot of things happened that I did not expect to happen, which is a good thing, which means it's developing, the competition's getting higher, which is good because all the Counter-Strike players that come from Source and 1.6 are getting better and better at Go, which means it's going to be a high level competition, which means as a spectator sport it's going to be of a high level, so it's going to be more interesting. So firstly, Titan are not unbeatable anymore. Well, I wouldn't say they weren't unbeatable because NIP beat them, but they aren't a team that everyone thought they would be, like an unstoppable team that would win loads of majors now. It's kind of like they've just stopped. Sort of, they did really well prior to DreamHack Winter. Well, they did well in DreamHack Winter, but NRP just outplayed them. And they've come through, and the won DreamHack Invitational, everyone jumping on the bandwagon, me included, saying yeah, they're going to be really good. They're the best team in the world at the moment, which I thought they were. But after this tournament, I'm reconsidering. I don't think there's the best team in the world anymore. NIP is still one of the best, Titan are one of the best, Virtus Pro are one of the best. It's just there's loads of one of the best teams, which is good, which is really good because there's loads of competition now. It's not just like it was just NIP dominating in the old days of Counter Strike and then it was going to be Titan. It's loads of different teams who are going to play now and who are going to compete and who think they can win, which is brilliant for the scene. So I also think that NIP have not rekindled their form when they were playing unbelievably, and that may be just because of the other teams not performing as well as they were in previous Counter Strikes like 1.6 and Source. But it could be to the fact that NIP haven't got the form right at the moment. I think they're getting better still. They are still a great side. I'm not disputing that. But prior to numerous defeats last autumn, they still haven't really changed that much. And even though they have got to the two finals, they still haven't won a major yet. So, well, they have won majors, but they haven't won. I hope they just get better at Copenhagen games. To be honest, I think that's going to be one of the best tournaments of the year because there's loads of teams playing there. LGB, I have said it before, look very strong in this, and if they do get some really good strats, I think they will be a very good team and one of the best by far. To be honest, because their aim is out of this world, and if they have a good set of guys who are going to work together and going to have good tactics and get some experience under their belt, because I think it was for most of them like the first time they were on a main stage, so they must be nervous. And unfortunately, Virtus Pro just had the experience to overcome that. So yeah, I do believe they will be a good team, probably by summer. Well, a really better team than they are now, because they are still quality, but they're going to be immense. To be honest, I love to say this. So many people have been saying after DreamHack Winter 2013, Fnatic are the best team in the world. They are not. This proves it. They are just not the best team in the world. They were never the best team in the world. They were a team that was built on form. They were overrated at DreamHack Winter 2013, and I do believe it was a fluke. And I believe I've been proved right now because they are a team. When they're all on form, they are great team. They are the best, one of the best in the world. But when they are not on form, they are not. They really aren't. They're a team based on form, which a lot of teams are. But a lot of teams can work together and bring through. But if, say, like Flusher or JW, if JW isn't hitting up shots, they're most likely not going to win unless Flusher's doing something amazing. To be honest, that's how I see it. And Schneider, I wouldn't say he's very hit and miss, but he's quite hit and miss. He's quite inconsistent, which is a worry for me because I like Fnatic. I think they're a decent side. They just need to kind of keep up that form. You need to keep up how they hit shots, their aim. They need to keep it's. I'm explaining this so badly, but they are. Oh god, this is bad. They are a team built on, I wouldn't say motivation, but they're not a consistent team, let's say that. It's not a consistent team. They need to consistently be good, and then I think they'll class them as probably one of the best in the world. And that's my opinion on them. You might think differently, but I think they're just not the best team in the world, as a lot of people said. Now, I think this is one of the best things that's come from this tournament is that Virtus Pro won it. I think it's brilliant that a different team has won it and won a major from the big teams such as Titan and NIP. I know Fnatic won DreamHack Winter. As I said, it was a fluke, but they were still a big side. Virtus Pro, they are a new lineup, kind of new lineup to this year, with under the name Virtus Pro. So it's really good to see a kind of a new team winning a major, and then now with the golden three, which is Taz, Pasha, and Neo. Those three have finally found a place where they can actually do well. Like, they've been so screwed over in so many past events. It's unreal how much they've been screwed over by just their organisation. But now, Virtus Pro, I do believe they are a really good organisation. I do believe the Golden Three and well as Bialy and Snacks, who are also brilliant players, they really stepped up this tournament. Like, Bialy just went sick. He was probably my favourite player at this tournament. His aim was just immense. And now I think these three especially, are now getting as good as they were in Source and 1.6. Well, no, not Source and 1.6, 1.6. They're getting as good as they were in 1.6. I think it's brilliant that all these teams are getting better, and I think I'm really looking forward to this year of Counter-Strike Esports. It's going to be amazing. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys start getting into this scene because it is a brilliant scene. I really want everyone to try and get as big as possible. Tell your friends about it if they play Counter-Strike. Tell your friends about Counter-Strike if they don't play Counter-Strike. Get them into Counter-Strike. We need to get more people into this because this is a brilliant scene. I think Valve are doing brilliantly with this whole esports keys case things that are funding events, which is just amazing. It shows that when we have a bigger prize pool than League of Legends, and that's always been thought of as the biggest esports. So hopefully we can take over League of Legends. That's what I want from the scene. I know I'm not the creator of the scene. That sounds like I'm the creator of the scene. I'm not. I just want it to do brilliantly. So yeah, guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to be doing more of these kind of like analysis videos. I will be putting out some like clip videos like I've been doing for my gameplay, but with pro gameplay from EMS1, because I'm not that good. I don't get those clutch like, say Neo got a 3k on 4 HP. Like, what's that? How do you even do that? But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all next time.